250mm strike cannons, you will win against Ultralisk, because it is what definitely kills them. Sorry about that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mining bases also for IdrA, so nice big macro game, which is typically where he's most comfortable. Just making more Ultralisks and getting those upgrades. He is maxed on the food, so trying to squeeze in that one last Ultralisk. And looks like he's going to push around here to this space, and I don't know, it's going to be tough. That's a lot of Marauders. Do the Thors have their strike cannon? Yeah, no, they don't have enough energy. But yeah, the Marauders, I mean, Marauders are very good against Ultralisks, so yeah, I believe IdrA has a Spire, yeah. He invested a lot of money into Ultralisks, and it's always painful to invest so much into upgrades and all that for a unit and then have it countered. It's difficult to switch back to air, but I think switching back to air was pretty much his only option at this point. I mean, Terran saw what he was doing and reacted appropriately, and he kind of didn't react. So now his Ultralisks aren't looking too strong. Here comes a drop. Looks like he's going to drop 2 Ultralisks somewhere up on this high ground. Meh. And a big fight. Fungal growths go down, and yeah. Sorry, I was watching that way too fast. Because there's a lot of blood spraying. Holy crap, did you know how much blood Ultralisks have? That's awesome. Let's watch that again. So yeah, looks like these guys should, at least one of them should have enough for the 250mm strike cannon. Looks like no. But the Marauders and Thors are going to take it out. Good drop here behind the Thors, actually. Just so much blood pouring out of these Ultralisks. Sexy. Look at that. It's like this fine mist just powdering the landscape with delicious Zerg chunks. But yeah, Broodlords would have been pretty good here. He definitely had the gas to build Broodlords. Obviously didn't have the upgrades like he had on his Ultralisk, but I think an Ultralisk scare and then an immediate switch into Broodlords or mass Muta actually would have been pretty good against this, because drewbie did end up making a lot of Marauders and tanks when he saw, as soon as he saw 2 Ultralisks, he went nuts on the Marauders and tanks, so that would have been a really good exploitation. And drewbie just trolling IdrA here, saying I love Terran, as though it's just some inherent Terran strength that won him in this game, and not the fact that IdrA didn't stop making Ultralisks when his Ultralisks clearly weren't going to win in the game. And yeah, IdrA is obviously a pretty damn good player. He just won the King of the Beta tournament and all that. So, but when plans don't go his way, when his little plan for the game does not go according to plan, he tends to flounder. That's just a tendency he has, and all players have weaknesses, and it's pretty much universally agreed that that's his. Yeah, trying to force his way in here with these Ultralisks. Sitting at 160 food. I don't know how many of that is drones. 63 drones, 9 Ultralisks. It's a lot of Ultralisks still. Not giving up on the Ultralisk, and really just since the first fight, his Ultralisks have not been effective. So, I mean, fucking cut it out, bro. You have a Spire. You had a ton of gas. You don't have any gas anymore, but you had a ton of gas. And yeah, just take a look at Terran's base here. Let's pause before this last. Looks like it's going to be one of the last fights. Let's pause. Take a look around at what Terran would need to do to get Vikings in the amount that a 5 basing Zerg Broodlord combination. I mean, he had 1 reactor. That's definitely not going to be. I mean, I feel it's tough to say, but I feel a transition back into air would have been would have been pretty appropriate for IdrA in this game. Because, yeah, I mean, the Terran seriously committed. The Terran seriously committed to anti-Ultralisk as soon as he saw just a hint of Ultralisk. And, of course, that's really hard to play that kind of mind game where you're like... I guess... I'm sure IdrA would have done that had he scouted the tanks and the Marauders being made, but I think maybe he kind of didn't realize he was already being countered, and then it kind of committed too much gas to this army, and kind of had to go with it, so... he's trying to do what he can. He's got a pretty decent gas income still. Let's see if he's still making Ultralisk. Yeah, he is, and level 3 infantry armor here, and... I don't know, man. Oh, look at that. Armies are a-fightin'. So yeah, here comes this big group. That's a 3-2 Thors and 3-2 infantry against fully upgraded Ultralisk, even with the armor. But 250mm strike cannons do not care about your armor. Period. It's just sorry. And drewbie trolling away here, trying to provoke a reaction out of IdrA. There it is. And IdrA just letting his opponent know that he doesn't appreciate his comments, which is perfectly respectable. 250mm strike cannon goes down on an Ultralisk with 10 hit points. But he still uses the opportunity to say pew pew, because he really... I mean, if you get a chance to play IdrA and then you beat him in a macro game, you know you're going to use that chance to just try and make him just flip out. So, and I'm sure players like IdrA and Artosis will use a game like this as an example of why Terran is so overpowered, but I think that's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. Really, this is a case of stubbornness. Not imbalance. Does get a lot of Zerglings, which is good. Actually, as you can see, this huge number of Zerglings is... Look at that. I mean, he just made Zerglings and was able to take out that whole army with, like, what, 4 Ultralisks? Just because the Zerglings were there to occupy the Thors and take down the Thors and the tanks. Now think about how if IdrA had reacted sooner, had given up on the mass Ultralisk sooner, gotten Broodlords or mass Zerglings or just anything but Ultralisk, really, because this is just such an anti-Ultralisk army. Yeah, and see, as soon as the Zerglings are gone, the Ultralisks can't do anything. I mean, and it's hard to make. I mean, it's hard for Ultralisks. It's hard. Ultralisks need support. Ultralisks need to kind of have this surprise factor. They're not a unit you just make and like the opponent can't prepare for. Like what am I trying to say here? I'm sorry, I'm such an idiot. Ultralisks are a unit that are so easy to stop if there's appropriate preparation time, and this Terran had plenty. I mean, he had plenty of time before the Ultralisk hit. Like a unit like Mutalisks, same thing. But oh, and here we see drewbie. I don't think it's balanced. I don't know, man. I really think IdrA could have easily won this game. So I don't know, really. I mean, if you could have won the game just by changing your decisions, how can you call that imbalanced? You know, when it's your fault. That's just me, though. So, but then there's these all-around units like Hydralisks. Hydralisks are pretty good, even if the opponent knows about them. You know what I mean? Ultralisks are not in that category. Roaches, I mean, obviously if they get air, that's something different. But I'm talking from a straight army-to-army standpoint. Like roaches you're never gonna hate having roaches in your army. Right now, this whole game, IdrA should be hating the fact that he made so many Ultralisks. Apparently he doesn't hate that, though. He thinks, like... apparently IdrA thinks that if you make Ultralisks, you, like, got to the last level of StarCraft and, like, you win. But it's just another unit, you know. If you telegraph you're making mass Ultralisks, and then you give them plenty of time, they're going to kill you. You know, it's just kind of how it is. And hey, look at that. 20 minutes later, he gets what I think he should have gotten. And this is just way too late. Like, it's way too late for this, but I suppose we can see how it goes. Yeah, no upgrades on the air units, unfortunately. What is going on in the production tab? Yeah, just maxed out for Terran. And look at Broodlords against this, right? I mean, Broodlords annihilate this army. I mean, they put this Terran army in little dresses and then put their Zerg feet right up their tutus and totally like kill them in junk. So only 5 Broodlords, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Hydra's maxed out on food too. But if this had been 12 Broodlords 20 minutes ago, instant victory for Hydra. Instead of, I'm going to make 20 Ultralisks, kill them, and then make 20 more, and then let them die, and then make 15 more Ultralisks. That was not good, man. And look at this. Just with the Broodlord support, beautiful fungal growth. Really good fungal growth goes down. And, yeah, nuts to your medevacs, bro. And, yeah, Broodlords. Broodlords. Now, over here we've obviously got this happening. Because, like I said, it is way too late. But we'll see, I guess. The more Vikings, I mean, look at just maxed this Viking production here. He's got he might not be enough. I really don't know. Let's see what these Broodlords can do. Unfortunately for IdrA, he doesn't have any ground to air. Hopefully he can get some good fungal growths off on the Vikings. But yeah, just you need to fungal growth. Oh, you don't have the mana. Oh, that guy has the mana. Please fungal growth these Vikings. I'm begging you to fungal growth these Vikings. He's not fungal growthing the Vikings at all. So yeah. And now Hydra is getting his just desserts. Getting Zergimba. And I think that's an appropriate comment from Hydra, because really, Terran should have been more aggressive. I mean, he had every advantage in the world, and he just kind of sat on his ass. And Hydra, I wouldn't play Terran because I have self-respect, right? Those imbalanced Thors and tanks and Marauders just killed his Ultralisks. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Ultralisks should just kill everything, right? They should probably get an upgrade so they can jump in the air and do air to air, right? I mean, they're the last unit, right, Hydra? Fuck you, dude. But yeah, Terran players are just so bad. It seems bad. I don't know. I don't even know what these guys are talking about anymore. But yeah, both players made mistakes. Unfortunately, drewbie's mistake was the kind that will lose you a game. So, how about that terabyte hard drive, huh? Woo! What a weight off my shoulders. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good to have that frame rate just now. And hope you guys liked it. I'm going to be doing a video pretty much every other day. That's my new plan. I have the time and whatnot. So, look forward to that. And still doing those show matches. Those are going to be coming up pretty soon. So, keep watching, and thank you.